Hello, 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 everyone. It's your main man, Darren M. Palmer, Chief Book Officer of Self-Published in 30 Days. Excited to be with you for another episode of Market Leader Live. Hey, where we give tips, where we give examples, where we allow for those who've done the most, who've been able to get it done, actually not just thinking about it, hoping, looking for somebody else to do it for them, by actually do it themselves, moving forward on that idea, that vision that they had, creating a team and pushing forward to change change individuals' lives. So today we're going to get on today. It's anniversary time, anniversary month for us here at Self-Published in 30 Days. You seen a post earlier that our team was able to put together and put out. But we're just going to talk about growth a little bit, growth through time. And for those who don't really know the backdrop of our story or who we are as a company and how it got started, some people just see the shows like this with Market Leader Live. And, I've had people reach out and say, hey, Darren, oh, man, I didn't know this. I didn't know that about you all. Or when we have a strategy call or someone hears about it or we're referred, we get a referral, they're reaching out like, hey, where did y'all come from? How did this start? This is amazing. What you're doing for people or whatnot. How did this get started? So at the end of the day, I always go back to what you saw referenced in the post earlier today or whatnot on our social media platforms. If you're watching this at another time, this is actually recorded live. So if you're watching this at another time, this is a celebration month that we do in July of every year of our company. So this marks for 2020 or whatnot, the month of July, this marks our 6th anniversary as a company. We've been able to see some highs, some lows, the good, the bad, the ugly, Hornet situation, mask, COVID situation, the whole nine. But also with some things that I had done beforehand, I had experienced the 07, 08, seen a downturn in the housing market during my time as a realtor. So, like I said, I've been able to see quite a bit of things and whatnot. I don't want to date myself too much. But today we're going to talk about continuing to grow. Continuing to grow when we look at the anniversary of this company, of our company. I can't tell you the importance of growth. And you might say, well, Darren, that's obvious that you want to grow. But no, it's not so obvious for most people, the importance of growth. Now, like I said, this is the company's anniversary, 6-year anniversary. But for us to be where we are today, for us to be where we want to be in another 6 years, leading up to 12 or 20 or whatever that may look like, we can't stay the same way. And so many of those who are looking at being market leaders or looking at growing their businesses, their ministries, or just growing as a human being, you have to have a hunger. You have to be ravenous for growth. If you're not focused on growth, most people will settle easily. They will settle easily for mediocrity and whatnot. If they can just halfway do it, if they can get by and enough people believe the excuse that they done gave themselves and they done made enough, if they done sold enough other people to believe in that narrative, most people will quit. That's what happens. So what I've noticed, what a mentor shared with me, and I'm going to share with you about the importance of continued growth, because I'm going to share as a market leader myself some things that I've been able to learn in the past 6 years with this particular company, but I've been doing some other business stuff too as well before that or whatnot. So the thing that I want you to understand about growth is that it has to be intentional. Write that down. Growth has to be intentional. You're not going to grow. I had another mentor share with me. He said, Darren, he said, most people think whether they got a GED or they graduated valedictorian of their class, most people think just because they're getting older each year that they're growing each year. Wait a minute. Let me pause. Let me bring that thing back real quick. He shared with me. He said, Darren, most people think because A number is added to how old they are each year. They believe that they're growing each year. So just because you 65 don't mean that you're any smarter or that you've grown any since you was 18. Let me repeat that again. Just because you 28 doesn't mean that you've grown since you were 21. Now you have to watch this here now. Now, this is important because just because you have cognitive activity or your brain is functioning, that doesn't mean that you are growing. You can have somebody laying there and that's unresponsible, but their brain is working somewhat, but that doesn't mean that they're growing if they sit up there and they can't move the rest of their body and they just functioning, it's clicking, or a machine keeping them alive. Why am I bringing this up? You have to be intentional on your growth. Over these 6 years we've been running self-publishing 30 days, you saw the narrative. It started off and it evolved. It started off where I thought, well, man, I'm just going to do speaking. I told you beforehand, I thought I was going to, I thought like, hey, Les Brown is getting kind of old. You got to know your market. I said, well, it's about time that they need somebody else to come on in and help them with the speaking game. So I found out about that. Actually, I wasn't even looking at doing speaking. I had someone who reached out to me at a local church that I was going to at, I think it's basically for they say it's for at-risk kids or whatnot. But a guy who was over at-risk students at a high school reached out to a local church that I attended, and he shared with them that he wanted me to come and speak. And I'm like, man, like I thought it was something wrong with that because I don't even know how he even knew I went to that particular church. And I don't even know how, because I wasn't doing any speaking to, just really, I wasn't doing any speaking or nothing like that. It wasn't professional. I didn't have a business. I didn't have business cards. I mean, I don't know how this guy reached out to me the way that he did, but he did and left a message with the church clerk. They shared the information with me. So I'm like, man, let me call this guy because I don't know I don't know what he wants, but I at least can call him out of respect. So I called him and he's like, man, I need you to come over if you don't mind, speak to these students or whatnot. You've been able to, make some changes in your life that are positive. We would love for you to come and speak to our students or whatnot. Can we set up a time for you to come through? I was like, absolutely. Now, this wasn't any paid speaking engagement or anything like that. So I went to pour into the students who were there. But while I was there, when it was time for me to speak, he introduced me and said, this is Darren M. Palmer. This guy is amazing. He's a top-notch speaker. He speaks all over the globe. He helps people. The dude went all on. I feel like he was Steve Harvey bringing me out on Kings of Comedy or something. The dude just went in on. Now, never mind. This is my first time meeting this guy. We are opposite persuasion or whatnot, so to speak, or whatnot. He's from a different background than I am, but this guy didn't show nothing but love to me. So I'm thinking to myself, like, man, this dude is cool. I don't really know him, but he's cool. He done shared the stuff. So I did the talk or whatnot. And then I realized I had that aha moment. Like, man, this might be something. So I moved into it. So while I was doing the speaking and I knew I wanted to get more speaking engagements, I wanted to grow. I'm fast forwarding a little bit. I went to an event and it was pressed upon me like, hey, Darren, if you want to be looked at as an expert at what you're doing, anybody can get up and just say that they are a speaker. Anybody can get up and say that they are inspirational, motivational, keynote, now TED Talk, whatever the name that you want to call it. Basically, anybody can get up and say that. But what you want to do is separate yourself from others in the marketplace. And you want to have a book. And it wasn't as cliche then when he shared that to me like it is now for those who are around the personal or professional development arena. Industry, you hear that quite a bit now. It wasn't what it is now, what we have now for is just hearing that over and over and over. So when he said it, I had heard it before because I was very serious about my personal development. And so I was like, hey, I like where this guy is. I like the things that he's doing. I've been able to show up at his event, so I can glean some from this and execute on what he shared with me. So I got the book done. Love having the book done, saying, hey, this is what I need to do. Had a speaking engagement, first time that I was able to get more than a 3-piece chicken from Churches of Popeyes, with the extra biscuit. And, at that time, I really liked a lot of that extra sweet tea, like the grandmama from the South sweet tea, not the diabetic tea. So at that time, I was drinking that heavy. I had to cut back on that here recently. But at the same time, I was like, wow, man, I'm getting paid for this. So, this is real money. So I was speaking, but I had my books. So I went back to the back of the table, whatnot, after the event was over. People were there. I was able to autograph my name, sign some stuff or whatnot. And I noticed it was 600 people in the audience. Not all 600 bought the book, but 300 did. So I realized, like, whoa, wait a minute. I was able to take home more than what I actually made from actually speaking because of what I had at the back of the book. That added another stream of income. And most importantly, it allowed for me to add impact. And you might say to yourself, well, Darren, what do you mean by impact? Because little did I know that there was a woman in that audience that night that would later on send me a message and reach out to me, sharing with me. She said, Darren, I was at an engagement that you spoke at, and I was able to get your book, but I wanted to let you know at the time of that keynote speech, the time I was able to get your book, I had twin boys in the 1st grade, had a son who had autism or whatnot in the 7th grade, and no one knew it, but I was going through a divorce. I was a non-traditional student, unconventional or whatnot student or whatnot, that I was a non-traditional student. I was going to school or whatnot whenever I had time off. I was going through a divorce, but I was able to graduate, and I was able to get a full ride to a private college, and I was able to graduate valedictorian of my class at this university. And now I want to see if it's okay with you to use excerpts from your book for the commencement speech. I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yes, Jasmine. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Brandy Flanagan. That's my girl, Brandy there. Killing it. Brandy got some news coming out pretty soon, but I ain't going to say nothing. It's the anniversary. But, that blew my mind because I was looking at it from the standpoint of growing the business. But that's when I saw the intersection between impact and income. And so many people had issues with that. So after that, I saw the power of impact and income where it intersected. Then I realized someone else shared with me, another mentor shared with me. He said, Darren, son, if somebody asked you something 3 times, create a product. Now, you heard me say this before for those who tune into this. He said, son, if somebody asks you something 3 times, don't worry about it being perfect. Don't look at trying to be a perfectionist. You can always go back and do some iterations to it or whatnot, reiterate, but make sure that you create something. I said, yes, sir. I jumped on it. So after so many speaking engagements, after traveling to different parts of the nation or whatnot, I found people asking me, Darren, how do I publish a book? I can't tell y'all that I was, super humble or was just really deporting to people. Really, I was like, oh my goodness, man, like I gotta get to the next flight. I gotta get to the next speaking engagement. These people want to talk to me and hold me up hours after the speaking engagement, talking to me about how to do their books. So I realized what that advice that I was given. And so I understood and I said, well, let me just create a course for it. Create a course, let's get it out there. It also allowed for people to be out my face so I can get out of these engagements so I'm not taking 2 or 3 hours, talking to people the whole time. I can be able to get where I need to go without a lot of backlog. I can say, hey, go here and get the course. They did the course. Some people got the course. They got some things done. But I also realized I'm like, let me put this thing off my speaking website because, I don't want to mess up my speaker. I'm going to be the next Les Brown. That's what I had in my mind. So I said, well, let me get it off of my speaking site and let me create a landing page strictly for it, strictly for whatever this thing is. Okay. It started growing. That's it. Well, let me expand it from just a landing page and make a full-fledged website for it. So we invested and did that. Okay. By this time I started doing the speaking thing. I created my own event. Me and another guy, we partnered together, used our own money. We put our own money up and did a national tour. And it was an unconventional way of doing professional development. For a lot of you who were able to attend, a lot of relationships and the people I'm connected with right now was because of that event. And that was called the Greatness Awaits Tour. So we toured all over, East Coast, West Coast, we hit it up or whatnot. Made some amazing relationships with people that I still have today because of the Greatness Awaits conference. Okay. So while I'm doing the Greatness Awaits conference, I had got the website done fully. Then I noticed, I was like, wow, man, this thing is really blowing up with this tour that I'm doing. So I was talking to my good friend or whatnot, Darren Roberts, and we were master planning on some stuff. And he was like, man, what you thinking about going with? Typically around 3 months before a new year, me and Darren kind of bounce ideas off each other on some directions that we're looking at carrying our business and carrying our companies and just goals that we have personally. So we were bouncing some ideas off each other. I think it's around September or something before the new year. During that time we was talking, or October. And then I said, you know what, man, I'm going to put my money down. It's too many people asking for this. So I'm supposed to pivot. I'm supposed to go all in and see like what actually happened with this publishing company. I'm supposed to actually put real money into it, do the things I need to do, and go in. He made some changes to his stuff that he was doing with his consulting, the whole nine. Boom. We go off, we go and execute. Next thing I know, the thing started catching on. It started blowing up, but being intentional with growth. So it was just me, and I had a few people that I outsourced stuff to, but I also wanted to make sure that I had a personal touch with the people that we work with. So the secret sauce for us more than anything is I got a background with consulting with small businesses before I started this company too as well. And so that's the secret ingredient, the consulting, actually working with people. Now, other people have different models. I'm not knocking that. This is just our six-year anniversary. So I'm just sharing with you some things that we did in those infancy stages or whatnot. So the team of people that I have now, I didn't have at the time. I had some other people that I worked with here and there, whatnot, outsourced some stuff. I did a lot of the heavy lifting myself during that time, a lot of late nights and early mornings or whatnot. This was before Drake was out. So while we was doing this, I realized, I said, I want to bring stuff more in-house. I want to have control of my team. I like outsourcing, but I really want to have a personal touch and I want to grow the brand. And so when I was looking at that, that's right. It goes a long way, Jasmine. You're right. You're right about that. And when I noticed that, I was like, wow, I got to expand this. I want to expand this market because I had clients in different places. But something that I noticed is that because stuff was online and I was able to travel, and I was putting money behind this conference, I was able to make great relationships in different states. It was important for me to have growth that wasn't dependent on where I came from. Oh, Darren, don't do it like that. Don't do it. You're hitting them too hard. It is Market Leader Live, somebody. It is Market Leader Live. Yes, I want to be recession proof. So I knew that I didn't want, and now this is just my business now, so I don't want nobody in their feelings on this or whatnot, but I didn't want a business where I was just dependent on people local who might be scared to death that if they invested in your company that you might have a couple dollars more than they had, or scared that you're gonna get to take a trip that they haven't took yet. So you got some people with scarcity mindset, a lack mindset. I didn't want to be dependent strictly on my state. So I wanted to be able where I could work with people from across the globe. And so that's what I knew. And so then we started building the team. Yeah, that's right, Stephanie Palmer. Self-Publishing 30 Days team is awesome. You're right. But at that time, it was no team. You see, it was no team at all doing it. But I knew we had to build a team. So with building the team, one thing with growth is, and this is not proper English or whatnot. I'm gonna share some with y'all. Some of you might, close your ears, but I'm gonna give you a good quote. What my grandmother used to share, rest her soul. But her favorite country and western star was Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood was her favorite country and western star. She loved us some Clint Eastwood. Every day She'd have Clint Eastwood. She would have Gunsmoke on. She would the Little House on Perry and them would come on. It was back in those type of days. That's all she watched all day long. But Clint Eastwood was a man. That was her guy, Clint Eastwood. Her and my granddaddy watched it all the time. But famous quote from Clint Eastwood that she used all the time. If we said something that and we call ourselves being slick, trying to get over, she would tell us, you can't piss on my back and tell me it's raining. Now, I know that messed a lot of y'all up right there, but you can't piss on my back and tell me that it's raining. So with that being said, boys and girls, the understanding from the South out of Texas is that you can't tell me anything and think that I'm going to believe it. As we say in Texas, this is not my first rodeo. This is not my first time. So even though we might talk slow, we think fast. So I want y'all to understand this when you thinking about maneuvering and going to the next level. You have to understand how to build a team. So what I noticed is that, yes, Darren, it's cool for you to be able to do a few of these projects, but for you to be able to make the impact that you need to, you just can't be a technician. If you're going to be an actual business owner, it's a difference between just a course, just a workshop on the weekend, just, hey, here a free ebook. It's different mindset and skill sets that you need if you're going to actually run a real business. So I had to be honest with myself and say, okay, Darren, you didn't come in here to be a business owner at first. You came in just to do some speaking. That didn't take a whole lot. You can outsource some stuff or whatever it may be. You did the course. The course was just already set up. That's good for a stream. Get it out to people. But now when you're looking at customer service, you want to keep a retention low. You want to build a company that's built upon referrals. You want to make sure that you're able to accelerate the process. So that's why we self-publish in 30 days, because the myth that some people had about publishing, that it would take years to get done. So we wanted to debunk that myth. So I had to understand that you had to grow. So going from just a speaker and working on being a speaker to understanding, taking wise counsel and getting advice on, hey, you need to produce certain things. I didn't create all those ideas. That came because I was investing in myself and I was around the right people who saw more in me than I saw in me. Oh, wait a minute, Darren, there we go with another nugget. Don't miss it. I'm not talking fast. You might just be listening slow. But I'm here to tell you right now that you have to have an understanding that there are people that are around you, the right people now. I'm talking about getting wise counsel now, or doing consulting, or getting around people who are headed the right direction, who going to another level. They can see stuff in you that's going to push you, that's going to make you invest. And I'm going to tell you something else when I go back. Don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining with Clint Eastwood with my grandmother. The other thing that you're going to have to do is, oh my goodness, it's called accountability. Oh, did I hear right? Did he say the A word? Yes, accountability, people. See, you can't piss on my back and tell me it's raining. When you're hanging with losers, losers are gonna make you feel good about you not doing what you're supposed to do. They're gonna tell you it's all right. We love you just the way that you are. Oh, don't worry about it. You hadn't did nothing in 6 to 9 months. Oh, don't worry about it. It's all right. Well, you tried. That's all anybody can ask of you is to try. Well, if you didn't have kids, or if your relationship would have worked out, if you wasn't a woman, if you wasn't white, if you wasn't Hispanic, if you wasn't black, if you wasn't too tall, if you wasn't too fat, if you wasn't too skinny, if you wasn't too orange, if you wasn't too yellow, if you wasn't too green. Winners win and losers lose. It's not because of anything that I just said, but what we're talking about today of intentional about your growth is, you hear me sharing information to you on here. I can't tell you how many people who have come and gone, but one thing that I know, that most people ain't gonna put the work in. They're not gonna do it. Now they like the money. They like the trips. They like the accolades. They like the rewards. They love the prizes. But most people will not do what it takes to win. So what does that take to win? You might have to do stuff that other people are not doing. You might not buy a car when everybody else is buying a car because you invested in your business. You might not buy a new house where everybody else is buying a new house because you want to be liquid and you want to pour into your business. See, if you so caught up on trying to keep up with everybody else, what you'll end up doing is you will forfeit your opportunity to grow because you're trying to keep up with everybody else, the Kardashians, the Joneses, and whoever else you want to come up with. You're trying to keep up with everybody else that when it's time to invest in yourself, then you're going to be all out because you're going to say, well, I can't do nothing because I'm already vested. So your thinking has to change. And by you investing in yourself and getting around the right people, they're going to help you think differently. Because if you're thinking from another quadrant, the Darren that started at first over 6 years ago is not the same Darren now. So understanding hiring and making mistakes, understanding how to treat people, understanding to bring the right people that fit the culture, how to build a culture, understand the importance of investing in yourself, and growth is all important when you start looking at anniversaries. Because if you're not intentional on your growth, you won't have anniversaries. That's why most small businesses or most businesses, period, go out of business because they don't have the dexterity. They don't have the tough skin to be able to withstand what it takes. And that is no excuses. You got to figure it out. You got to make it happen. You're going to have to, you believe it or not, did y'all know when you running a business that you're not the first one getting paid? Oh, did Darren just say that? Did Darren just say that? If you're a business owner, you're not getting paid first. And if you are getting paid first, you're not a business owner. See, that's 300 level there. I don't want to blow your head off right there. If you build an organization, you bring people in there to make sure that it goes faster or whatnot, but that's called reinvesting in your business. Just like if you have a stock, you make some money off the stock and then you reinvest that dividend back into the stock. That's what you do when you do a business. But most people are so caught up on trying to cash out that they will suffocate the business because they won't allow the business to grow because they're constantly taking from the business. It's more of subtraction and extraction from the business than they're doing for us adding to the business or multiplying the business by getting the things that they actually need. So the business typically folds and go out of business because the person is trying to run the business still have an employee mindset. And so that mindset is check. And you running the business, you can't be caught up on just check alone. Can't do it. It's not going to work. So here we are, Market Leader Live, and this is your boy Darren M. Palmer, sharing with you some of the things that I've experienced, some of the things that I have learned over the 6 years with us being able to run and have the #1 self-publishing company in the world, self-publishing 30 days. I'm just grateful to be here with you today. This is a month thing that we're celebrating. I will be here sharing tips and things that I've been able to learn. I've been able to share with you failures I've had as well. I've been able to share with you home run moments that I've had. I've also been able to share with you things as far as on my relationships as a parent, traveling, events that I've had, partnerships. Some things worked, some things didn't. I'm going to be able to share all of it with you on Market Leader Live this month. I'm going to be able to bring people in who have been a part of the growth of this company. I'm going to be able to just have a wonderful time and talk about things that have allowed for us to be able to continue to grow, but we haven't been able to do it by ourselves. It takes a team, and more than a team, it takes your network. It takes growth on yourself. It takes you investing in yourself. It takes firing. We're going to talk about that too, because you can't, it's companies right now that people who should have been fired, but everybody just, they need a job. They got kids. Well, if they fire and they're not handling their business, you let them go be great somewhere else. You can't do that. Cut, cancel, off. That's why most companies fold right now, because they got a bunch of people in there that should have been fired, but everybody's trying to be nice until everybody go bankrupt. And guess what? The fired people who were sucking the company dry, they go be fired somewhere else because management didn't have the kahunas to do what they needed to do. But it's your man, Darren L. Palmer, Chief Book Officer with Self-Published in 30 Days. Thanking you for tuning in to Market Leader Live. Russell Hill, my man. That's the man that I use. Go to his form, man. I go to his company. Russ, put your information in for the company if you're there. You got time, man. I'm gonna make sure I put that in there. If not, I get it on there the next time. But I go to his farm. That's where I get my meat. That's where I get my stuff at. That's my main man, Russell Hill. Russell been here from the start of the company. He's been able to watch it more. He bought the first book. He went to the same church that I went to. He bought the first book. Used to come and listen to me speak, go to the events or whatnot, carrying it around, poured in. He helped support from day one. So, man, kudos to you, Russell, man, you and your family, man, for the support over the years, man. God bless you. I love you, my man. Until next time, remember, if you won't change, be the change. Be blessed and be great.